Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Today is Thursday, December 11, 2025. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. Breaking news out of Indiana. Senate Republicans there refuse Donald Trump's request to redistrict. That's right, they have rejected new maps. We'll talk about that. The Trump Justice Department is suing the Minneapolis Public School District over layoff protections for teachers of color, calling it, quote, illegal race discrimination. The racists are at it again. Democrats scorched the Homeland Security Secretary, ICE Barbie Christie Nome, plus the FBI's operations director during today's House Committee on Homeland Security. Oh, y'all do not want to miss this. A Somali American out of Minneapolis who ICE agents assaulted and unlawfully detained speaks out. We'll also show you some Somali leaders in Minneapolis who endorsed Trump last year. I wonder how they feel now. For the second time, a federal grand jury has refused to indict New York Attorney General Letitia James despite all the noise in political theater. Trump, you lose again. In New York City, Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani names formerly incarcerated activist Mysonne Linen to his transition team, and conservatives are pissed off. Mysonne joins us to lay out his vision for the city. In our Black Star Network Marketplace segment, a Beverly Hills-based dermatologist will discuss her skincare line specifically designed for black folks and people of color. It is time to bring the funk. I'm Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, y'all. It's Roland Martin, rolling with Roland now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
Folks, this is the front page of the Indianapolis Star website. Indiana lawmakers reject Trump's mid-decade redistricting push. The Indiana Senate voted overwhelmingly against Trump's mid-decade redistricting push. Folks, this is a huge, huge decision. Donald Trump, first of all, here we go. Carol, hit Congressman Carson right now. Y'all, we are live. Congressman Andre Carson, he is African-American, there from Indianapolis. His seat was one of the two they were trying to get rid of, so he just hit me back. So hold on, y'all. Carol is calling you now. I told y'all, see, we don't play, so we go ahead and do this here. So I'm texting him right back. Okay, all right. So text him, Carol. If he ain't answered the phone, he might be in a committee hearing. So text him, and y'all work it out. So get him on the phone audio, get him on the phone video, FaceTime, Zoom, vMix, it don't matter. Let's make it happen. So y'all, here's the whole deal. Donald Trump has been pushing, not just pushing, he has been demanding, ordering all of these Republicans to redistrict. We saw what happened in Texas. They bended the knee, did what he wanted. Republicans did the exact same thing in Missouri, getting rid of the seat of Congressman Emanuel Cleaver. They've been doing the same thing in other states. Well, they have been putting lots of pressure. You might remember when Donald Trump called Minnesota Governor Tim Walz retarded, it was an Indiana state senator who has a special needs child who said, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not voting for those maps. These senators in Indiana have been getting death threats. Donald Trump even called them to the White House, putting pressure on them, even said that if they oppose him, he was going to target them in a campaign. Well, they said, hey, man, do what you got to do. We don't believe in this. We're not going to do this. And so that's exactly what they did. That was maximum pressure being put upon them. I mean, every facet of the party, the Heritage Foundation, Turning Point USA, Donald Trump Jr., all of these people said if they were going to be targeting these people, they were not going to get reelected. They did not care. But Republicans in Indiana have stood up to the fascist Donald Trump. This is the story here. In a monumental rebuke of Donald Trump's wishes, Indiana's supermajority Republican state legislature became the first to formally reject his push for mid-decade redistricting. Folks, the vote wasn't even close. Look at this. It was 31-19 against. The no votes got more than a constitutional majority needed to kill the bill once and for all. Previously undecided State Senator Greg Good, who had been subjected to threats, to reveal his no vote in a speech before the vote, saying he was confident, my vote reflects the will of my constituents. His spokesman from a bomb threat was called into the office as he was speaking against the bill. This is what he said. Indiana did this just 4 years ago. The map produced was celebrated by legislative leadership, and Indiana served as a national model for getting things right through Hoosier common sense. That's how you actually do it. Let's go to my panel right now. Dr. Greg Carr, Chairman of the Department of Afro-American Studies, Howard University, joins us right here. Glad to have him on the show. Cameron Trimble also joins us on the show. Formerly worked in the Biden White House. He also is, of course, talks to young folks every single day with his podcast, Hip Politics Media, and we'll be joined in a bit by Thelma Lawyer Bay Anderson, author of Shut Up and Prosecute out of Dallas. Greg, this is really huge here. These Republicans, Trump put all kind of pressure, and they were like, damn that. They got a supermajority. They could have passed this. It already passed the Indiana House, but these senators stood up and they said, no, we did it 4 years ago. Damn it, we're not going to do it right now. And what it would have done was wiped out. Right now, it's 7 Republicans in Indiana, 2 Democrats. It would have wiped out both Democratic seats. They said, not going to happen. And now what you going to do, Donald Trump?
He's probably going to put pressure on the white nationalist governor who says that it's not over. Let's be very clear. We give credit for people being human beings. The bar is so low, there is no bar. In fact, they didn't do this because it's in their political interest not to do it. Sure, the reporters are saying it would have been a 9-0 Republican sweep if they had gerrymandered, but that is not at all guaranteed. We see in Texas the 5 seats they think they are stealing. He says one thing to redistrict. It's another quite thing to redistrict and stuff people in districts and then start deporting their families and arresting them and jumping out and snatching them up because you think that they don't belong in the country. Texas, those 5 seats are not guaranteed. We saw what happened in Miami. A white woman, La Gringa, as they call her in Miami, beat the tar out of the MAGA candidate in a heavily majority Hispanic area. Now, that isn't Indiana's makeup, but let's be clear. There are limits to gerrymandering. And I think that these folks in Indiana realize if we do this, number one, there's no guarantee that we will be able to go 9-0. And number two, with all this violence being put against us, it's not clear at all that we won't be attacked anyway. So I think that's probably what we're facing. And I don't know that it's over. Heritage Action, dark money arm of the Heritage Foundation, saying that Trump is claiming he's going to strip all federal funding from the state. I think this is important, Roland.
Yeah.
I think it's important because they're testing the limits of the law at this point. And at this point, it probably should get all of us off the bench and into the game.
Yeah. And listen, look, I say this all the time. If you do good, I'm going to talk about you. If you do bad, I'm going to talk about you. At the end of the day, I'm going to talk about you. And Cameron, the reality is these Indiana Republicans in the Senate, they did good. They stood up to the fascist bully. They stood up with all the threats. They were getting death threats, bomb threats, all sorts of different things. And here's the other thing. The voters in Indiana, they also were protesting saying, hey, we don't need this. So these senators were responding to the voters as well because they say, hey, Trump, you could call us out, but these are the folks who got to vote for us. This is from the Indy Star. This is some of what one of the state senators had to say.
Friends, whether we realize it or not, whether we accept it or not, the forces that define this vitriolic political affairs in places outside of Indiana have been gradually and now very blatantly infiltrated the political affairs in Indiana. Misinformation, cruel social media posts, over-the-top pressure from within this state house and outside, threats of primaries, threats of violence, acts of violence. Friends, we're better than this, are we not? We can't allow ourselves to keep getting caught up in all of this noise. We have to redirect our focus on what really matters, I believe, to Hoosiers. The cost of living, the cost of doing business, the cost of health care, electricity, natural gas, additional tax relief, education, workforce development, job creation. These are the things I believe that we as state senators can truly influence. These are the issues that are on the minds of my constituents, are holding me accountable to take on. I'm going to conclude here in a way that I often conclude other speeches when I'm out and about in the district with the following phrase: the free world is counting on the United States of America. Friends, the United States of America is counting on the state of Indiana.
Karen, here's the thing here. We are in the situation we're in because gutless, spineless Republicans in Washington, D.C. refuse to stand up to the twice impeached, criminally convicted con man in chief. He has run roughshod over them. He has just taken the authority of the legislative branch and assumed it for himself. And what you see right here is a state chamber saying enough is enough. You don't get to tell us what to do in our state. We are elected in our state. It's unfortunate that the cowards, the Republican cowards in Texas, didn't do this. That the Republican cowards in Missouri did not do this. That you right now have cowards, Republicans in Florida, who are looking to do this. Republican cowards in Ohio who are looking to do this. Somebody has to stand up to this thug and say, hey, we can't say we like small government or local control, and then you want to tell us what to do because you want to see changes. Cameron, every week I got to tell you turn your damn microphone on. Now, I don't know how you could come on here talking about you a Gen Z, millennial, and you all in the tech, and your mic is never working.
Can you not hear me?
Now we can hear you because you turned your damn mic on.
My mic has been on, Roland.
No, it wasn't.
All right. Well, as I mentioned, like I said, my folks.
As you mentioned, as we can now hear.
As we can now hear, my folks live in Indianapolis and have been Hoosiers for almost a decade, right in Andre Constant's district, and I've worked a lot in that state. Hoosiers are a proud people. Hoosiers are, I would say, a fiercely independent folks, and what is happening, and I think will hopefully reverberates around the country, is that these state senators, these state legislatures that are getting this pressure from Donald Trump realize, hey, I still have to get elected. And if Donald Trump, just because he pressures and tries to put a national campaign for us to redistrict and move.
Cameron, hold on one second. Cameron, I got to come back to you right now. We're joined by Congressman Andre Carson of Indianapolis. Congressman Carson, glad to have you here. I was just saying, Republicans in your state had some guts, and they stood up to the thug-in-chief, Donald Trump.
Absolutely, and it's always good to hear from Brother Cameron Tribble, who's a leader in our community. Listen, I think you called it. You know, we're thankful to God. I think this shows that the power of the people and the power of prayer really works. Indiana's different. We have a very independent streak, a libertarian streak. We're similar to Texans in many ways in terms of our sense of independence. And I think that's what we saw right there. You had outside actors rolling from D.C. putting millions of dollars to try to influence our state. It didn't work. The voice of the people is far more powerful than any person.
Yeah, but the reality is Texas Republicans capitulated and they bent the knee, and so they were not independent. They were shameful and despicable in not denying Donald Trump, changing the map, and stealing those 5 seats. But what I also loved here, people were protesting in the state. They went to the state capitol. They put the pressure, and these lawmakers were saying, hey, Donald Trump, you can threaten us, but these are the folks who can vote us in or out.
Absolutely, and Hoosiers don't play when it comes to bullying. You had these folks from Turning Point USA. You had the Trump administration threatening to primary people who were against this measure, and they were threatening to dump $10 million into local state Senate races and state house races. It's unacceptable, but you know, most Hoosiers are against it. So I think this was a moment where elected officials listened to the people instead of D.C. insider lobbyists.
And in fact, right here, we're showing this was the map right here. They wanted an all red map. Those two blue areas that, come on, guys, let's go. Those two blue areas, those are Democratic seats. Yours is one of those. They wanted 9-0, and these Republicans said, no, we're 7-2. We got a majority. My goodness, what are you trying to do?
That's right. They were proud of the maps they put together 4 years. What changed? And as you know, Roland, because you do numbers every day, once you start getting too cute, it could turn against you.
Well, again, I know you got some other interviews to do, but this is also what happens when people push back. And I'm always trying to explain to our people, Congressman, even though they might be Republican and largely white, there are a lot of us who are living in districts represented by Republicans. They need to hear us. We need to be blowing their phones up, emails, going to those town halls, putting pressure, because even if we didn't vote for them, we are still constituents.
Amen. That part.
All right, Congressman Andre Carson, the governor says it's not over. We'll see what happens next. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Let's go back to our panel. Cameron, the point that you were making there before we go to Congressman Carson. And again, people power, people pressure is critically important, and that's what happened here. And these Republicans in Indiana, they heard from their constituents.
They did. Making sure you can hear me now.
We got you.
Okay, thank you. As I was saying before, like being in the Hoosier state and having worked there for the last decade and family there, they are fiercely independent. And I think what some of the DC Republican Party and some of what Trump and his White House and his administration is miscalculating here is that when state Republicans and state legislators, state senators are receiving death threats, when people are showing up at their houses, showing up at their offices, consistently protesting, they're realizing, hey, all politics are local. I've got to get elected next year. And not only is my seat in jeopardy, my safety's in jeopardy. And all for what? For them to maybe redistrict and maybe get back some federal seats when they still need to get elected. And I think Hoosiers and folks in Indiana are fiercely independent. So I'm hoping this is something that reverberates around the country and folks realize like they're doing political calculations at the end of the day. Donald Trump and all the money that they can send into the state and potentially, they said, threats of primarying some of these other Republican state senators doesn't really register when in real time I'm having people threaten my life, threaten my family's life. I'm having real people and their constituents throughout the state come and protest them, and they've got to win an election next year. They're on the ballot even when Donald Trump isn't on the ballot. So I think this is something that is a calculation that hopefully if Indiana does stand up, and I'm curious to see if they're going to stand tall throughout this entire process or if some backroom deals are going to be cut, because we've known some of Trump's cabinets, Trump's sons have come to the state and they've been lobbying hard, the Republican state legislature there in Indiana. So we're going to see what type of pressure they're able to stand up against.
Thelma Lawyer Bay Anderson, she joins us right now. Listen, I get it. If this was a 2-vote, 3-vote, it was 31-19. Okay, that's a wide margin. It's going to have to be a whole lot of arm twisting to go from 31-19 to 21-19, or whatever number to win. And the thing here that I need people to understand, I had some fool in the chat say, can we stop talking about Trump at 6:30? You got to be stuck on stupid to not realize what's going on here. What we are seeing right now is with Donald Trump, with MAGA, with these Republicans in the House, Republicans in the Senate, these Republican state legislatures, with the Supreme Court and the federal courts, we are in the middle of a war. We are in the middle of a war for the future of America. We're in a war for the future of Black America. We are seeing these people attacking on all fronts. 80% of Project 2025 has already been put in place. The Heritage Foundation is now working on a Project 2026. I keep telling folk, you can't just be sitting here commenting on bullshit in the YouTube chat. without realizing that we are in a war. And this requires people to be on the battlefield, and we've got to be educating people on what's going on. So I'm not really interested. Listen, I'll watch Texas A&M, my Aggies play Miami on December 20th, but I'm not fixated on college football. I don't care what the damn University of Michigan football coach did, who he's screwing. I don't care about no gossip show. What we're talking about right here are life and death matters that impact our children's children, and black folks had better wake the hell up. Go ahead. I hear you.
I agree. And I think people forget. I want to take it back to 2016 when Trump started to put this plan where we're seeing right now into place. They started over 10 years ago with this plan and this scheme. And guess what? They laid under. They went underground soon as he wasn't reelected, and they regrouped. They regrouped because they knew they had already laid the foundation. And that foundation was that Supreme Court. That foundation was making sure they had the House and the Senate. So when Biden comes in, he couldn't put any cracks in that foundation. Now that we're seeing that there were no cracks that could be laid in that foundation, and it was so solid because of how calculated they were with using their resources, their money, and they kept it quiet. They used Trump and his rhetoric to distract us so that we can be like, oh, we tired of hearing Trump. Yeah, we are tired of hearing him, but his people was looking at every pattern, looking at data, looking at how we move in order to execute the plan that they have in place right now. And it's continuing to spin. That wheel is continuing to spin. And they got so much gas that it's hard for people to catch up. And if we don't start reporting on things that are going on that is within our political system, and we don't start educating people even more and drilling it in their head, we're going to continue to see the decline of what this country was built on.
You know, again, Greg, I just keep telling people folk are playing around here. They really are not fully comprehending. Every day, when I see these white nationalists, Elon Musk and others whining on Twitter about fertility rates, but really white fertility rates. When you got Dave Rubin, and then you got J.D. Vance, the vice president, whining about, well, of course we want people next door to us who can speak English. Those things. When you got Elon Musk lying, saying, all these Somalis elected Ilhan Omar when 60% of her district is white and only 3% is Somali. These folks, what they are saying, and these Latinos in America are waking their asses up. Hopefully, these folks are saying, we don't want none of y'all. We don't want none of y'all. Latinos, take your ass back. They saying Venezuelans, Cubans, Colombians, take your asses back. Trump stood at a rally and said, can we get a few from Denmark, from Sweden? They are openly saying we only want blonde-haired, blue-eyed white folks in this country. And guess what, Greg? All of these African immigrants, they don't want y'all ass either.
No. Now's the time to be clear. Your home state, 60% non-white. Here's a bulletin to white people. You should get with our common humanity or get rolled over. It's over. Not just the last 60 years of you trying to repeal the civil rights era. Not just the past 160 years as you trying to roll back what's left of Reconstruction with the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. This is the end of your settler colonial project, friends. It was born in sin and it's going to die in something that smells a lot different than that bullshit y'all been putting down for now 250 years. Indiana, that bozo won the state of Indiana in 2024, 58%. They wanted 100% representation. And to do it, they tried to carve up Brother Carson's district, as you say, into split it four ways. Tried to do to Indianapolis what they did to my hometown of Nashville. But people are waking up. As you said, if they had gone through with this, Congressman Carson's district would have gone from favoring Kamala Harris by 40 points in the election last year to going to Trump by 20 points, because they would have strung him out all the way through the state of Indiana. Similarly, we would have seen something similar in the northwest corner of Indiana around Gary and that place. They would have stripped that congressman out and had him split about 8 ways going toward the borders of other states. But here's the issue. And this picks up exactly to what Thelma was saying, the maps are being drawn here in D.C. The National Republican Redistricting Trust, according to Ari Berman, in today's Mother Jones, he just broke the news, and I know you've had Ari on many times. Knowing your Rolodex, you might have him on before the end of the show again. But, Berman is on this tight. And he's like, they really are trying to destroy what's left of American democracy and trying to rig this election. But I think what it comes down to, though, is this. If the state of Indiana was only 58% to Trump, and you try to go 100%, these legislators can count. And in counting, they realize that there are going to be limits to this. And in addition, what do you always say, Roland? If we vote our numbers, we win.
Yep.
If we turn out and everybody else turns out and a handful of white people turn out, a lot of those Indiana legislators might not be in their seats.
Here's the thing right here that jumps out at me, Cameron. And I can't stand, oh my God, I cannot stand weak-ass progressives. Sam Stein, nice reporter, nice guy. With the Bulwark, used to be with some other folk, Daily Beast and others. Here's what he tweeted. He said, gonna throw this out there. If Indiana Senate votes this down, Pritzker, who is the governor of Illinois, should announce he's taking redistricting off the table. I responded, hell no. If I'm Pritzker, first of all, I ain't taking nothing off. If Florida backs down, if Ohio backs down, and any other Republican state back down, if I'm Pritzker, I'll say, I'll think about it. But I'm down with Virginia saying, we're going to do a 10-1 map. See, this right here is the problem with Democrats / liberals / progressives. They want to go, oh, no, we going back. Hell no. No, you drive their asses into the ground. It's like in football. No. You don't just block them. You want an offensive lineman with a pancake block. You want them laying on their backs and they can't get up. You got to teach the right a lesson. And that's my problem with too many punk-ass, weak-ass Democrats / progressives / liberals. They don't know how to flatten folks' asses. You teach them a lesson. That's what you do.
They've got to keep the pedal to the metal. They've got to keep the pressure on. Because if you back off just because Indiana backs off, to your point, Florida, Missouri, Ohio, the math ain't mathing. And so while I think some in the party and some on the progressive side are trying to see this as a 1-to-1, I don't think that sentiment is throughout the entire party. I think Pritzker has the right notion. Gavin Newsom has the right notion. Any of these other states that are democratically controlled have the right notion. We have to keep that pressure on well into next year, because the moment we ease up off the gas, and the moment we say, you know what, all right, we're not thinking about redistricting. If you don't think they might call a special session to try to ran through some new district maps to win at the last moment, we haven't been watching. So if we're learning anything about this political, I hate to call it a game because these are real people's lives, but if we're learning anything about this political environment as it relates to real representation state by state, this is a point of leverage and a point of pressure, is that in order for us to have truly representative maps, both sides have to seem to be threatening each other with redistricting them out of these states. So, I don't know Sam like that, so I don't know where he's coming from. But I don't care where he's coming from. Disagree.
I don't care where he's coming from.
I totally disagree with this.
Thelma, since we're gonna stay with football, and since we know we close to Virginia, I'm gonna go Bill Stewart, Herman Boone. When the racists was sitting here trying to keep them from winning the game, And the white coach, Bill Stewart, finally had enough, and he said this here.
I know all about it, Titus.
What are you talking about, Bill?
You call this game fair, or I'll go to the papers. I don't care if I go down with you. But before God, I swear I'll see every last one of you thrown in jail.
You dig your own grave.
Defense on me!
Okay, Petey, don't you drift to the strong side.
Coach, they're calling a holding penalty on me every time.
Did I ask for your excuses? You want to act like a star? You better give me a star effort. Do you hear me?
Forget about him. Alan, you're in. Come on.
All right. Now, I don't want them to gain another yard.
You blitz all night. And if they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm going to take every last one of you out. You make sure
They remember forever the night they played the Titans.
Leave no doubt. Come on, now. Swing it left. Swing it left.
You better make yourself comfortable down there. Real comfortable.
For you, Coach. All right, baby. All right.
You brought us here, Coach. Run it up, Herman. Leave no doubt.
That's what I'm saying. Every Democratic strategist should play that damn clip to the DCCC, the DSCC, the DGA. Every group said, run it up, leave no doubt.
No. Listen, no. They have to. That is the perfect demonstration of who we have to be and who we need to be in this moment. So if they don't understand the significance and the urgency of keeping your foot on their fucking neck, they should be begging for oxygen. They should be begging for you to stop. They should be begging for you to get up. If they are not doing that, you are not going hard enough. You're not going deep enough. You're not piercing their organs so that they can stop. They need to be begging for mercy. That's how urgent and that's how hard this fight needs to feel for them.
Absolutely. I'm just like, I don't care, y'all. I have been telling y'all from the beginning of this year what's going on. These people are trying to destroy this country. These people want to destroy Black America. These people want to impose a shameful and despicable ideology. They are about whiteness. They are about white supremacy. That's what they all about. And my deal is like, that's right, leave no doubt. And I keep telling all y'all, okay, you got primaries coming up. It was a whole bunch of y'all. Y'all know, y'all were after Kamala Harris, after she lost, and folks were like all despondent. And 2 days later, y'all were like, roll, you moved on. Yes, because she lost. I dealt with it. And what did I say last year? I'm focused on the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. I'm focusing on the constitutional amendments in Louisiana. I'm focusing on mayoral elections. I'm focusing on the North Carolina Supreme Court race. And that's what I'm talking about. This is not a moment where we can be sitting here wasting our time listening to silly podcasters, radio shows, gossip folk, talking about all unnecessary stuff. This is a war. These people want to destroy us. They want to implement Jim Crow 2.0 in every action that they are taking. And this is where we got to hit them with everything. And see, some of y'all sitting out there okay? Y'all have been beneficiaries of black people who were fighting, beneficiaries of black people all across the country who didn't lay down. And you got some folks highly educated, well paid, sitting and saying, well, it really don't affect me. Bullshit, it does. Because it affects your cousin and your aunt and your uncle and your mama and your daddy and your brothers and your sisters. This is not a time for us to check out. 2026, we should be whooping ass up and down the East Coast, Southwest, West Coast, Midwest, state races, county races, city races, school district races, you name it. That's what this moment calls for. This is war. So damn it, act like it. I'll be right back.
This week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie, we're talking about the ups and the downs of the holidays, the ebb and flow of life, those things that keep us running and gunning. But you know, there comes a time in each of our lives where we need to just sit down, sit back, and relax, giving you a chance to really find out who you are and how you're going to move your life forward.
How do I learn? How do I grow from this? And that's where, resilience comes.
So I'm literally walking this out in real time. It's just giving myself all the grace, all the space, all the permission that I need.
We're talking about all of these things this week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie here on Black Star Network.
How you doing? My name is Mark Carey, and you're watching Roland Martin, unfiltered, deep into it, like pasteurized milk without the 2%. We getting deep. You want to turn that shit off? We're doing an interview, motherfucker.
Donald Trump's racist Justice Department lost again. For the second time, a federal grand jury said, hell no, we ain't indicting New York Attorney General Letitia James. This grand jury, like the one last week, did not find sufficient evidence to support the charges of bank fraud and making false statements. Additionally, on November 24th, a federal judge ruled that acting U.S. Attorney Lindsey Halligan, grossly unqualified, was unlawfully appointed, leading to the voiding of her indictment. These folks, Thelma, they like losing, and they are embarrassing themselves, and she just laughing like, what y'all got now?
That's the black woman. When we know you ain't got shit, we gonna walk into the courtroom and we gonna have a ball looking at the foolishness that y'all are putting yourself to and through. And then we gonna come out and say, what's next? You want to keep going? I got all day. I got all night. I got all year. Until you realize, because what a lot of people don't understand, as a former prosecutor who handled intake, grand jury intake, if we are in there reading, we cannot have any emotion. We can't try to persuade these individuals who are on this grand jury. We can only read what we have. If they are telling you for the second time, y'all ain't got shit, you ain't gonna have it next week or the year after. You are literally setting yourself up to pay her for the foolishness that you continue to display that is unlawful. And the former appointed individual, she needs to be concerned about losing her bar license because she intentionally violated her code of ethics, not only as a lawyer, but as a legally appointed federal prosecutor.
It's just laughable. Cameron, they kept trying to indict the dude who threw the sandwich at the ICE folk. And they were like, man, whatever. Then when they finally got an indictment, it was a misdemeanor. Hell, they lost that case too. I mean, you got to be, look, the old adage that a DA can indict a ham sandwich, these fools can't even indict the bread.
That's funny. I would say this. I think we're starting to see some of the checks, hopefully what we see in our system as the checks and balances here, in that there is still an intimidation factor among so many that they think that the Justice Department is going to bring them up on charges. But Donald Trump and his cronies are starting to see the limits of those powers. So I love the fact that Letitia James, again, walked out unbothered through this. But we can't lose sight that he is still utilizing, and this administration is still utilizing, what should be an independent Justice Department, what I think is probably illegally, but utilizing as their own weapon in their own team of intimidation. But this is a strike on the side of justice and hopefully on the side of right. But what I am hoping is that folks are paying attention to this, and this is giving the larger ecosystem more cojones and more bravado to be able to stand up against Donald Trump. Because for the first half of this year, he was threatening indictment after indictment after indictment against sitting members of Congress, mayors, and anybody who came against him. And this is showing that he doesn't have just unchecked, unlimited power.
Absolutely. And the thing here, Greg, that I just keep trying to explain to people, listen, they control the White House for the next 3 years. They don't have to control the Senate and the House for the next 3 years. And what people need to understand, House and Senate Republicans are letting these fools run roughshod. If you want to put them in check, Democrats should have gained the majority in the Senate and the House. And see, let me say this right here because we talk about it all the time. It's a whole bunch of simple Simons out there smacking their gums. Democrats don't owe you. I just saw a tweet from Butch Ware with the Green Party sitting here just, running his mouth about this, that, and the other, and Democrats this. This ain't a Democrat conversation. This ain't no Republican conversation. This is an Black American conversation. This is whether or not we're going to just stand by and let these thugs do whatever they want to do anytime they want to do. That's what's going on right here, okay? It's like right here. Butch Ware goes, black people owe nothing to the Democrats. Stop tethering your identity to a party that gives you nothing and makes you advocate for genocidal monsters like Obama, Kamala, Crockett, Jeffries, Booker et al. Just because they happen to be black. Your blind allegiance to a party that hates you is the only thing keeping them alive. Malcolm said it best, you put them first and they put you last, and that makes you a chump, political chump. Well, I ain't seen Jill Stein in no black community, Greg, since the election was over.
Yeah, I'm trying to measure my words here because I understand what Brother Ware is saying. Philosophically, I don't disagree. I think it's, unfortunately, I'm going to stop short of calling it simple-minded. These are ideologues. Fortunately, nobody's listening to them. And it's really sad. They're applying a broad-edged ideological argument in an environment that really it doesn't apply to. What you said a moment ago is the response. Mr. Ware, I hope you have some health care, some nominal health care, a job with some benefits, or maybe even a job at all with a living wage. I doubt that you do. We need full structured revolution in this country, but it's not coming today. And I think what we have is a difference of opinion over harm reduction. I keep saying this over and over again. I've been excoriated by these folks, but since I don't feel that stick, I kind of enjoy it. They will say, well, this system's got to fall before so it can be reconstructed. You don't understand the basic history of the United States of America. And those 2 or 3 lines of Frantz Fanon you read and combined with a couple of lines from somewhere else just don't translate into the real world. Meanwhile, the white nationalists are very clear about this. We don't know, of course, because grand jury proceedings are sealed. We don't know. But, and they're conducted in private, at least. I shouldn't say sealed, but conducted in private. But somebody familiar with the matter told the New York Times that Roger Keller probably brought the case to the grand jury that failed today. He's out of Missouri. He's a white nationalist. He likes to wear MAGA hats outside of work, according to the St. Louis Press. And he's part of a MAGA crew out of Missouri that has been consistent. Will Scarf, who was a former assistant U.S. attorney in St. Louis, is currently Trump's staff secretary, and he leads the National Planning Commission. that reviews federal construction projects because they're going to push this damn ballroom that they're now saying is going to be twice as big as what he said it was going to be. The former Missouri Attorney General, Andrew Bailey. This fall, they promoted him to co-deputy director of the FBI. The former Missouri Solicitor General, John Sauer, is now the U.S. Solicitor General. And of course, Ed Martin, who was once the head of the Missouri Republican Party, was briefly the interim U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. So they brought a hired gun in, but when you go through his cases, he don't prosecute civil criminal cases. He prosecutes civil cases. They will do anything. And finally, it comes to this. Brother Ware and all the radicals, I get you philosophically. Your politics are trash. I understand, though, your politics, your attempt. Fortunately, nobody's listening to you. The Democratic Party has people in it who aren't listening to the so-called centrist or soft white nationalists, Democrats either. Jasmine Crockett's not listening to them. Zohran Mamdani is not listening to them. Afton Ben did not listen to them. The people in Virginia are not listening to them at the local level, and they're going to drag those people along with that crew, or they're not. So for Butch Ware to lump all the Democrats together, and even to put Jasmine Crockett in there, I understand Palestine, baby. Because I'm against genocide everywhere. Palestine, Congo, invading Venezuela. I'm against all of it. We should all be against all of it. But don't mistake standing for our common humanity with the white nationalist project that's trying to run over you, your mama, your grandmama, your auntie, your brother, and all them because you're willing to throw them in the street to win a damn ideological argument. You need to grow up.
Thelma, I'm very clear on what we're facing. I tell people all the time that when I am looking at politics, let me just go ahead and go to football. 12 teams made the college football playoffs. Now, on December 20th, when my Aggies play Miami, if somebody else is going, that should have been Texas. That should have been Notre Dame. Y'all are having a hypothetical conversation. I'm watching who's actually on the field. And on that day in Kyle Field, it's going to be Miami versus Texas A&M. Not no hypothetical if Notre Dame made it, if Texas made it, if somebody else made it. I have to make an assessment on who's on the field. And what I see right now on the field, Republicans barely control the U.S. House. They control the U.S. Senate. I'm seeing the Republicans today blocking the extension of the Affordable Care Act payments. I'm seeing all this happen. I'm seeing a Department of Justice lie, make up stuff. Wait until I play the clips of Congressman Benny Thompson just nailing a so-called respected FBI agent about Antifa. Just nailing Ice Barbie Christie Nome about lying about deporting veterans. I know who I'm looking at. I am looking at the devil incarnate.
Come on.
In living, being embodied as the Republican Party in 2025. This is not the radical Republicans after the Civil War. This is not the Republican Party of the late 1800s, the 1900s, but it is because you had Herbert Hoover who led the Lily White faction of the Republican Party. Some of y'all need to Google that. But the fact of the matter is, we are looking at people who are in bed with white supremacists, who are in bed with white nationalists, individuals who are advancing a notion of whiteness that don't include any of us. They don't want us in a room. These folks don't want women in the workforce. They don't want women voting. They want women to be shut up, sit down, lay up in the bed, have their babies, and get in that kitchen. That's what we're facing. So I do not have time for Simple Simons who want to have this ideological outer space, what the world should look like. All I can do is talk about what's literally right in front of me right now. And MAGA Republicans are simply evil. That's for you, Thelma.
Okay. Not only are they evil, they are using us, our own kind, to continue the rhetoric. And what a lot of people don't understand when we're talking about the local elections and how important when we're talking about judges and you're talking about the DA, because when you have a Department of Justice that has literally said, fuck the Constitution, fuck the federal rules of evidence, we are going to do what the hell we want to do. You have to have these individuals that can equalize what they are creating as unequal in your local government. And when I see individuals that look like us and are being used to switch parties in order to confuse the individuals that are going to ultimately vote based on their party, no one is talking about that. No one is talking about these Black Republicans, knowing that they are in blue counties, cities, switching because they know that they can win. And you have the Republican Party, the MAGA, backing them because they know if we can get them to switch and win based off of where they are located, it's a win. So not only do we have to worry about them showing up in their true identity, we have to worry about the ones that they are paying to switch parties in order to confuse us so that they can stay in power. Because it's happening. It has happened in Dallas County. And I just want people to understand, wake the fuck up. Because just because they look like us and just because they may be blue now, look at their history. I promise you they have a red history.
Look at this, Cameron. This actually was before today's vote. The Heritage Foundation sent this out. Trump has made it, y'all know I cannot call him president. Trump has made it clear to Indiana leaders, if the Indiana Senate fails to pass the map, all federal funding will be stripped from the state. Roads will not be paved, guard bases will close, major projects will stop. These are the stakes, and every no vote will be to blame. Hashtag pass the map. This is how evil. If Joe Biden, if President Joe Biden, if President Barack Obama, if President Bill Clinton, if President Jimmy Carter had ever threatened saying, oh, if y'all don't pass if y'all don't pass what I want, I'm going to strip y'all of federal funding, they will be raining holy hell. But guess what? Steve Bannon, Fox News, the Daily Wire, the Daily Signal, Tucker Carlson, Turning Point USA, every person on Fox News, Mark Levin, all conservative radio, none of these people are condemning the Heritage Foundation for this because they agree with it. This is why you must leave no doubt and vote every single one of these thugs out of office, because if they would threaten I need everybody listening, Cameron, if these folks would threaten a supermajority Republican state Senate in a red state like Indiana, what the hell you think they gonna do to a blue state or a blue county or a blue city or a black city or a black county or a black neighborhood?
I hope people are paying attention. And I know you said if you mentioned a bunch of past Democratic presidents that if they had offered and said some of the same things, the entire media ecosystem, especially the right-wing media ecosystem, would be up in arms. I guarantee you if even George W. Bush had said something like that, people would have been up in arms. I think Trump is unique here in his arrogance and his pompousness in this. But roads throughout the state that he's threatening not being paved, these projects and these infrastructure projects in the federal funding, the school projects, this affects everybody in Indiana. So I'm really hoping that if Indiana voters and voters around the country are waking up that if the president of the United States is threatening to take away funding, this doesn't just hurt, Democrats. This doesn't just hurt independents. This doesn't just hurt black people. This doesn't just hurt Latinos. This hurts the entire states. A road that's not being paved or a school that's not being funded, an infrastructure project that's stripping away good jobs. All these things are affecting everybody in the state. If anything, I hope that threats like that on stripping federal funding, I think are going to backfire on both the president and at least at the federal level, those who are backing him up. Because once people get hip to this, and is what we need to consistently put these tweets on so many different ads. I would take that exact same tweet. I would take Trump saying those exact same words and plaster them and run ads throughout the state, run ads throughout the country. And look what the president's willing to do. He's willing to make your entire state suffer just to disenfranchise a whole group of people. He's willing to make everybody suffer. He's willing to make you pay more. He's willing to make your lives worse, to make everyone suffer. So I'm really hoping people are waking up, and I'm hoping that the smart folks here who are trying to win these elections are taking these tweets or taking these sound bites and running them up and down all throughout the country and definitely throughout the state.
And just so y'all know how just insanely despicable these people are, Christopher Hale put this tweet right here. The Trump-Vance White House has falsely accused an ally of Pope Leo, Sister Norma Pimentel, of illegal activity tied to migrant aid and cut off all federal funding to Catholic charities in South Texas. Church leaders say it's a targeted political reprisal against Pope Leo and the Catholic Church. They do not give a damn. This is what thugs and corrupt people do. They all got to lose next year. We come back. The right wing, they are upset because a formerly incarcerated brother is now working with New York elect Mayor Zohran Mamdani on criminal justice reform. Who better to talk about criminal justice reform than somebody who went through the system? We will talk to Mysonne next right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Support the work that we do, y'all. The conversations we have here, they ain't being held nowhere else. Ain't no radio show, no TV show, no network, nobody else in black-owned media having the conversations that we're having right here. Your support is critical for us to continue doing the work. Listen, we don't have a big white corporate media boss. We don't have millionaires and billionaires cutting us checks. It's regular, ordinary folk who will support this show, and it really matters. If you want to contribute via to Cash App, use a Stripe QR code. You see it right here, the QR code bottom left-hand corner for Cash App and credit card applications, for credit cards as well. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo's RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Checks in money order. Make it payable to P.O. Box. First of all, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Back in a moment.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. America is being reshaped in real time by a group of 6 people, unelected and without any checks and balances. By the end of the current Supreme Court session, education, the workplace, who gets to elect our leaders, and so much more could radically change. This week, we reconvene our legal roundtable and look at what the new America may look like and how we should respond. That's next on the Black Table, right here on the Black Star Network.
This week on the other side of change.
Book bans, anti-intellectualism, and Trump's continued war on wisdom.
This is a coordinated backlash to progress. At the end of the day, conservatives realized that they couldn't win a debate on facts. They started using our language against us, right? Remember when we were all woke and the woke movement and all that kind of stuff? Now everything is anti-woke, right? When we were talking about including diversity, equity, inclusion, and higher education, now it's anti-DEI. All this are efforts to suppress the truth because truth empowers people.
You're watching The Other Side of Change only on the Black Star Network.
If in this country right now, you have people get up in the morning and the only thing they can think about is how many people they can hurt, and they got the power That's a time for mourning.
For better or worse, what makes America special, it's that legal system that's supposed to protect minorities from the tyranny of the majority.
We are at a point of a moral emergency. We must raise a voice of outrage. We must raise a voice of compassion. And we must raise a voice of unity.
We are not in a crisis of party versus party. We are in a crisis of civilization, a human rights crisis, and a crisis of democracy itself. And guess what? You've been chosen to make sure that those that would destroy, those that would hate, don't have the final say, and they don't ultimately win.
Hey, I'm Tasha Cobbs, and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. But I need a little filter. I need something. Blow me out. Make me look 35.
So, Republicans happily, gleefully voted for a convicted felon. Now they mad because a formerly incarcerated brother is part of the criminal justice plan committee, whatever you want to call it, for New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani. Now, I'm confused. I'm confused. Why would you be mad that Mysonne, a former Def Jam rapper who served 7 years in the state prison for 2 Bronx taxi robberies in the 90s, has been appointed to Mamdani's transition criminal legal system committee? Mamdani explained to reporters why he chose Mysonne to be a part of his team.
We put together a team of more than 400 New Yorkers who are on 17 different committees. And these are New Yorkers who bring with them both a fluency of the policies and politics of the city, the places that they've succeeded, the places that they've failed. And we will take all of their experiences and their analysis into account as we build a city for each and every person.
Pretty simple. Mysonne joins us right now. Glad to have you on the show, bro.
Thank you for having me, man. How are you?
This is beyond laughable. To me, this is very basic. If I was a mayor-elect and I wanted a panel or a committee that dealt with nutrition in the city, I'm probably going to get people who that's what they know about. If I actually want a committee to examine the conditions of the city jail, I probably will want to hear from folks who have been in it and folks who probably worked at it. But I don't understand why all these old nutcase folk are mad, upset because you serve your time, you committed the act, you were convicted, you serve your time, happened long ago, paid your debt to the society, you have been working, trying to end violence, all sorts of things, and they mad that you would be on this committee? How dumb is that?
I mean, to me, it sounds foolish. I think we always say in the movement that those closest to the problem are also closest to the solution. As you stated, I've been home. This crime that I was convicted of, and I still maintain my innocence. I went to trial and was found guilty by a jury, and I ended up serving 7 years out of a 14-year sentence, and this was in 1999. So I came home in 2006. For over 2 decades, I've been home doing community work, doing nonviolence work, doing civil rights work, doing violence interruption work, dealing with at-risk youth, doing everything possible to make my community better. So when we have these conversations about why someone who is formerly incarcerated is at the table, someone who went through the Department of quote-unquote corrections, who went through a rehabilitation stage, as that's what they say the system is supposed to do. So why would we not want people who reacclimate into society to be productive members, especially when the track record of the last 20 years of my life has shown that I'm a productive member of society and I represent and have an expertise in the field of criminal justice.
Right. I mean, this is not, to me, that difficult, but it also goes to show you that the folk on the right and the New York Post played this up big. Oh, they played it up big. And that's the Rupert Murdoch-owned right-wing newspaper in New York. That's just who they are. So they've been playing up big. And if we want to confront, again, how do we keep folk from going to prison, we talk to people who can weigh in on type of programs to do it. If I'm trying to start, I remember when I was in Chicago. When I was in Fort Worth. When I was in Fort Worth, they passed this initiative to employ former gang members to help end gang violence. And these people are all mad, upset. And I'm like, well, who the hell do y'all think will have the credibility to go sit with gang members than folk who used to be in the gangs?
That's right. There's a level of expertise in everything. Unfortunately, there are a lot of returning citizens and people who are justice impacted that actually committed crimes, but they pay their debt to society. And I think it's hypocritical to say that you want someone to be rehabilitated and that you want them to pay for what it is that they've done, and then they paid for what they've done, and then they come home and they're on the right track, and you make it seem that they no longer can be a productive member of society. And I would like to salute the mayor-elect for his comments and stating that he created a committee of over 400 people, and it's people from all walks of life, different lived life experiences, some who are incarcerated, some who've been on the other side of the criminal justice system, and we all sit around and we come up with ideas and we come up what policy is going to work best. What is work best? I have an understanding about the school to prison pipeline. Being a young boy, watching a lot of my peers and a lot of my friends go from junior high school to prison, and those are things that I want to talk about. How do we get in front of the prison system? How do we put systems and structures in school that identify the kids who are struggling instead of suspending them? Because once you suspend a kid and you put him in the street, he's doomed to go into the system. So these are things that I've been studying, and I realize are things that I haven't seen any administration tackle. So that's what the level of expertise that I bring to the table that I know is going to be important if we're really trying to end the violence and the crime in our communities.
It goes to credibility. It goes to, not bringing what I call a theoretical perspective to it. Listen, I have spoken. I've been to many universities. I was 107 HBCUs. I've been to 50 or 59 of them. I've been to numerous PWIs, and when people ask me, Roland, you've been in media since you were 14 years old. That's the last 43 years. What do I see as the biggest problem with media? I said, easy. People teaching journalism who ain't never done it. Like, you can't. I remember when I was at Texas A&M and there was a television writing class, and the teacher gave me a grade, and I said, let me ask you a question. I said, and what's crazy is I had the producers who work at the local TV station help me with my assignment. I said, let me ask you a question. You ever worked in TV? She said, no. I said, well, how the hell can you teach me TV writing and you ain't never worked in television? I said, you must have read a book just like I did. And she got mad and she said, well, why don't you go to the department head? I said, I'll be back. And I went to the department head and I walked in and he was like, roller, I know, calm down. I was like, no, Doc, how you going to have somebody teaching me television writing who ain't never worked in television? To me, that's the dumbest thing in the world. So we can have a hypothetical conversation We can have an academic conversation, the things that we need to do to lower crime, how we need to do with mental illness, what must we do with young men and women who don't have fathers or mothers in the home, how do we deal with these folks who are having one meal a day or one meal every other day. No, but if I got some folk who've been through it and who are in it, who are talking to folk every day, that's the difference between what I say a PhD and a PhD.
That's right. And that's just the mentality that I come from. I can't erase the past. I can't erase the fact that I was in prison. I served 7 years. But all of those experiences that I've had, just being inside that system, knowing the flaws inside of the system, knowing the flaws outside that lead to the system, all of those things, this lived experience that I have, gives me a level of expertise that I don't believe that anyone else that's on this transition team has. So, I defend myself by saying, look at my track record. They'll try to judge you by the worst seconds of your life. And once again, I still maintain my innocence, but they'll judge you based on the fact that you were convicted of a crime. But they won't look at the last 20 years of my life when I've been doing public service and it's well documented that I've been on the right side of history and of justice.
Questions from our panel. Thelma, you first.
First and foremost, I commend you on all of the work that you are doing because you are the perfect person in position to sit on a panel that is going to create change. Because we can only do that by being educated from people who have experienced it. Because if we don't, we're going to still continue to see people who are not educated on what they're doing that lands them into situations wrongfully and under their own accord. So my question is, how do you feel when you have police officers who have probably violated individuals' constitutional rights and have not been caught, trying to dictate whether you are more qualified than them?
I'm not a police officer. I don't know what the training is. I've never been through the police training. And I believe that they have a job to do, right? I believe that they have a function within society. But they don't understand which function on the opposite side of the aisle for those who are justice impacted, who have served time, who have to go through the justice system and see the flaws and see how a lot of our youth are being overcharged and over incarcerated and given way too much time. They don't see all of those things until some of them actually fall and they find themselves on the opposite side. And then I've heard them say, wow, I didn't know all of that was happening. So what I would say to people that have that mentality, officer, you have to do your job. And the work that we've been doing in the CMS and the Credible Messengers organizations and what we've been doing in my organization, Until Freedom, at rewriting legislation for criminal justice, making it safer for the community, giving inmates and convicted individuals humanity, giving them actual opportunity to come home and be successful. It just makes no sense to me. As a police officer, why would you not want to understand the person that's inside of the system so that you can try to limit those people from going in the system to make your job easier? I think the thing we should be doing is those on the opposite side of the law, sitting down, having conversations and utilizing both of our lived experience, both of our knowledge and our wisdom and our expertise to come up with the best plan for our criminal justice system.
Cameron.
Good to see you again, brother, my son.
Peace, King. Peace.
Group 100 last met. Again, thank you for all the work you've been doing in both in the community and on social and through your podcast and through media. I think you really have a full 360 approach on how you're reaching multiple generations. My question here, and I think you have a unique opportunity to bring in the hip hop generation and the hip hop community into government, especially with the mayor-elect Mamdani kind of represents to so many different people. And I think, how do you plan to maybe serve as a bridge to the larger hip hop community? Because I think as we move into these next several elections, a lot of folks, both not just rappers themselves, but people in the industry and all the folks that they influence, don't see themselves or don't see an opportunity for themselves in the political system. They say no matter what the mayor, some of these same laws and how the police are treating them, and some of these same issues are still arising. But I think you being on the inside, or you working with the mayor and working with his administration, both from transition and in governing, has such a unique opportunity to be a bridge to so many more influential, I won't just say the community and the fans, but also the artists through New York. Because, New York has it's the home of hip hop, and it has such a rich hip hop history. And there's so many different artists and folks in hip hop that are kind of at every level. So I'm really excited about what you could potentially do there.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I thought about before even accepting, the offer to be a part of this transition team, is how can I impact the community? How can I impact the culture? And when the newspaper, the Post, decided to put me on the front and quote unquote call me a crime boss and try to smear me, it was refreshing to listen to my community defend me. It was refreshing to hear artists, radio hosts, everybody possible come forward to say this man has been doing this work selflessly, honestly, and making real impact for over a decade. So when they stood up and they seen me, I've been getting calls and text messages from so many of my friends. They say what the devil means for bad, God will transform into good. And they thought that they were doing something to defame me, but they just opened up the eyes and made people feel like we actually have an opportunity to have someone that they know from our community who loves our people, who loves our community, and is really trying to save the kids in the community and do the best for our community inside and have his voice be heard. So they know that when I walk into those rooms, I'm bringing them with me. So I believe it definitely empowers our hip-hop culture. A lot of the people who didn't see themselves inside of this political sphere, who were pretty much done, are saying, I feel like we have an opportunity with you at those tables, being able to voice our opinion and be able to voice, the ideas of our community.
Greg?
Thank you, Roland, and thank you, Brother Mysonne. Yeah, we know what these critics, their purpose is. Their purpose is to try to destroy the Mamdani mayoralty, and they are anti-human. They are anti-life. And I agree with you, brother. Police are doing exactly what they are formed to do, and it has nothing to do with improving the lives of anyone. So that having been said, I think we can set aside the retired chief of department for the NYPD talking to the New York Post. It's doing what it needs to do, which is, of course, expressing its dying white nationalist philosophy. And congratulations to New York City for rolling over that. You'll be sworn in, I understand, in a little less than 3 weeks, and you're going to hit the ground running. My question to you and to your comrades as well, I understand that there are several folks from Until Freedom who are joining the 400 plus. What is your philosophy, if you can maybe offer some insight into how you view public safety and how you view so-called criminal justice as it relates to the kind of things y'all will be talking about once you're sworn in, and really get down into the details of how you really transform an institution and transform a society?
Well, I think for us, the reality of public safety is the community-based safety, right? We always say that police don't come and stop crimes in our community. They come and arrest you after the crime. And sometimes they actually make the crime more hyper, and they amp things up. And when you have credible messages in our communities, when you have people who deal with mental health in our communities, because a lot of those situations in community can be prevented, right? We want to deal with preventative measures first. And when you have community respected people inside of the community who come from the community, some who are formerly incarcerated, some who have been former gang members, some who just are community leaders. And when you give those people opportunities and give them jobs inside their communities to where it's a community-based organization, and when people feel comfortable and they're able to foresee, situations happen inside communities, because it's always somebody in that side of the community who has the pulse of the community. So if we start empowering those people who have the pulse on the community, we've seen over the years the CMS, the crisis management system, has reduce violence in our communities tremendously. And we want to pour more into that, pour more resources into that. We don't want to send our people to jail. We don't want to always have our kids going to jail and being suspended. We want to figure out, how do we prevent the crimes before it happens? How do we do restorative justice? How do we find young kids who might have done something that it's illegal, and we find a way to give them a path towards being redeemed and being able to be educated and be successful? We don't want to take away the likelihood of their success. So we want to see it as a community-based motto in which we put violence interrupters inside communities, and they work alongside the police. There will be times where the police may be needed. The crime has exceeded something that credible messages can do. But more often than not, they really don't. They don't never have to if we have the resources in our community and we empower the proper people.
All right, then. Well, look, congratulations. It's great that the mayor is doing this. I wish more mayors would do this sort of thing, because it's critically important to be bringing in multiple voices when we talk about trying to fix many of these societal problems. So, Mysonne, look, you've done great work for the years. You've been a great voice, and certainly we appreciate having you on the show.
Thank you for having me, man. I just hope that we continue to support each other. They always want to defame us, and they always want to look at us and look at the worst times of us. I want us to continue to uplift people like you, Roland. I just want to give you your flowers, because you don't get enough flowers. That, like you said, the conversations had here and upliftment of our people is not happening anywhere else. So continue to do the work, bro.
I appreciate it, my brother. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, folks, got to go to a break. When we come back, when you F around, you find out. And Somalis in Minneapolis are finding out. Wait till I show you. One man described how he was attacked by ICE. We're going to also show you an endorsement that Somali leaders gave Trump just last year. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
They said the quiet part out loud. Black votes are a threat, so they erased them. After the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act in 2013, Republican legislatures moved fast. New voter ID laws, polling place shutdowns, purges of black voters from the rolls. Trump's Justice Department didn't stop it. They joined in. In 2018, his DOJ backed Ohio's voter purge system, a scheme that disproportionately erased black voters. Their goal, erase black votes and political power. Yeah, that happened. These are the kinds of stories that we cover every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Subscribe on YouTube and download the Black Star Network app. Support fact-based independent journalism that centers African Americans and the issues that matter to our community.
This week on the other side of change.
Book bans, anti-intellectualism, and Trump's continued war on wisdom.
This is a coordinated backlash to progress. At the end of the day, conservatives realized that they couldn't win a debate on facts. They started using our language against us, right? Remember when we were all woke and the woke movement and all that kind of stuff? Now everything is anti-woke, right? When we were talking about including diversity, equity, inclusion, and higher education, now it's anti-DEI. All this are efforts to suppress the truth because truth empowers people.
You're watching The Other Side of Change, only on the Black Star Network.
It's your boy Earthquake, giving Roland Martin something to do, because he don't know what to do. He from Texas. Ain't his fault.
We got a big FAFO segment. Y'all, today on Capitol Hill, Homeland Security Committee hearing. They were talking about worldwide threats to the homeland. And when I talk about Trump's folk were getting their asses pimp slapped left and right, I think the Democrats were just passing baby powder down the line. And it was just like, It was a scene out of How High as they was just pimp slapping folk. Y'all, Mississippi Congressman Benny Thompson, at Kappa, I give it to him. Y'all, He called on Ice Barbie Christian Nome to resign, and he left Michael Glasheen, the operations director of the FBI's National Security Branch, y'all, speechless when they were talking about Antifa. Roll it.
Executive Order Domestic Terrorist Organization, Antifa. That's our primary concern right now.
All right, that's what President Trump did. What does the FBI say?
We share the same view. When you look at the data right now, you look at the domestic terrorist threat that we're facing. Right now, what I see from my position is that's the most immediate violent threat that we're facing on the domestic side.
So where is the Antifa headquartered?
What we're doing right now with the organization.
Where in the United States does Antifa exist? Yeah. If it's a terrorist organization and you've identified it as number one.
We are building out the infrastructure right now.
So what does that mean? We're trying to get the information. You say Antifa is a terrorist organization. Tell us as a committee, how did you come to that? Where do they exist? How many members do they have in the United States as of right now?
Well, that's very fluid. It's ongoing for us to understand that. The same, no different than Al Qaeda and ISIS.
No, I don't want you. I've asked one question, sir. I just want you to tell us. If you said Antifa is the number one domestic terrorist organization operating in the United States, I just need to know where they are, how many people. I don't want a name. I don't want anything like that. Just how many people have you identified with the FBI that Antifa is made of?
Well, the investigations are active.
Sir, you wouldn't come to this committee and say something you can't prove. I know. I know you wouldn't do that. But you did.
Here's the shortened version of that clip.
Yeah, it was 12:15 exact. If I'm not mistaken, it was.
Now you see something. Now you see now. You done fucked up. You know that, don't you?
I see
what I'm saying.
I thought.
No, so, you know what I'm saying? That you done fucked up now. You know that, don't you?
The more questions that cop asked, the more I thought I wasn't gonna never see daylight again.
With Benny Thompson, first of all, y'all, Benny Thompson was the ultimate black daddy. He went, Every black person knows that feeling when your ass lying and your daddy go, Matter of fact, roll that again. Just roll that again. Roll Benny again. Come on, roll Benny again.
Executive Order Domestic Terrorist Organization, Antifa. That's our primary concern right now.
All right, that's what President Trump did. What does the FBI say?
We share the same view. When you look at the data right now, you look at the domestic terrorist threat that we're facing. Right now, what I see from my position is that's the most immediate violent threat that we're facing on the domestic side.
So where is the Antifa headquartered?
What we're doing right now with the organization.
Where in the United States does Antifa?
Greg Cameron and Thelma. This sounds like when your daddy said, why did your ass come home at 2 o'clock? Did I not tell you to have your ass in this house at 12:30? But you done brought your ass home at 2 o'clock. Who and what were you doing at 2 o'clock in the morning? Well, I asked your ass, who were you with and what were y'all doing that brought your ass home at 2 o'clock in the morning? I think every black person watching right now is having a childhood flashback after that questioning by Benny Thompson. But the ass whooping ain't done. Y'all, Kristi Noem got busted in a serious lie when she said, oh no, Congressman, we've never deported any veterans. And the congressman, I think he watched this show. He said, go to my iPad. Roll it.
Madam Secretary, how many United States military veterans have you deported?
Sir, we have not deported U.S. citizens or military veterans.
I don't believe you served in the military. I haven't either, but I think you and I can agree that as Americans, we owe everything to those who have served our country in uniform, particularly those who have served in combat. Do you agree with that?
Sir, I believe that people that are in this United States that are citizens have legal status here.
Madam Secretary, we are joined on Zoom by a gentleman named Se-Jun Park. He is a United States Army
Hey, my man said, go to my iPad. Homie, what? Y'all, my damn iWatch thinking I'm having an emergency. Let me stop this. My man walked up. Roll that back. I just want y'all. He was like, roll it back a little bit, because y'all gonna see him go, we about to get in your ass. We about to get in your ass. Roll it.
I don't believe you served in the military. I haven't either, but I think you and I can agree that as Americans, we owe everything to those who have served our country in uniform, particularly those who have served in combat. Do you agree with that?
Sir, I believe that people that are in this United States that are citizens have legal status here.
Madam Secretary, we are joined on Zoom by a gentleman named Se-Jun Park. He is a United States Army combat veteran who was shot twice while serving our country in Panama in 1989. Like many veterans, he struggled with PTSD and substance abuse after his service. He was arrested in the 1990s for some minor drug offenses, nothing serious. He never hurt anyone besides himself, and he's been clean and sober for 14 years. He is a combat veteran, a Purple Heart recipient. He has sacrificed more for this country than most people ever have. Earlier this year, you deported him to Korea, a country he hasn't lived in since he was 7 years old. Will you join me in thanking Mr. Park for his service to our country?
Sir, I'm grateful for every single person that has served our country and follows our laws.
Can you please tell Mr. Park why you deported him?
Oh, freeze. Oh, my Lord. My man said, can you thank him for his service? And then she tried to go, all lives matter. Keep going.
But you understand that many veterans struggle with PTSD. Many veterans struggle with substance abuse challenges. This man took 2 bullets for our country. You have broad authority, by the way, as Secretary, to issue humanitarian parole, to do deferred action. Will you commit to at least looking at Mr. Park's case to see if you can help him find a pathway back to this country that he sacrificed so much for?
I will absolutely look at his case, but I want you to remember that
Madam Secretary, the man behind you, please stand up, sir. His name is Jim Brown from Troy, Missouri. He is a Navy combat veteran who served our country in the Gulf War. He's married to a woman named Donna, who came to our country legally from Ireland when she was 11 years old. She has lived here for 48 years. Because of you, Jim's wife, Donna, has been in prison for the last 4 months. She did not come here illegally, and she has never committed any crime other than writing 2 bad checks totaling $80 10 years ago. She is currently in prison and facing deportation. Ms. Noem, will you thank Mr. Brown for his service to our country?
Thank you, Mr. Brown, for your service to our country.
Now, what possible explanation...
Oh, Lord. He said, he's standing behind your ass. Mr. Brown, stand up. Then her ass, Mr. Brown, Mr. Brown, thank you for your service, Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown, thank you for your service. Play.
Can there be for locking up his wife for 4 months when she has committed no crime other than writing a couple of bad checks for $80?
Sir, it is not my prerogative, my latitude, or my job to pick and choose which laws in this country get enforced.
You have broad discretion as the secretary. You can issue parole. You can do all kinds of things, but you're choosing not to. Will you commit, again, to just reviewing Donna's case and reuniting this combat veteran with his beloved wife, who also loves this country?
I will review the case.
Now, that was Virginia Congressman Robert Walkinshaw. Oh, y'all, the dog walking didn't end there, y'all. It didn't end there, okay? So another member of Congress, in fact, that was Rhode Island Representative. We don't have his name. Y'all, why is his name in the script? Rhode Island Representative. Okay, so this is the Virginia Congressman Robert Walkinshaw, who had a few questions about the Proud Boys.
Mr. Glasheen,
We're going to put Rhode Island Congressman, put the name.
I'm familiar with the name, yeah, Proud Boys. Okay. Does the FBI still designate the Proud Boys as an extremist organization? They did in 2018 in President Trump's first term.
We are in the process right now of changing our categories for domestic terrorism.
So they're no longer designated as an extremist organization. The FBI designated them an extremist organization in 2018. Has that changed?
I'm not aware that they did that.
It's all over the media, sir. It's widely reported. Can you get back to me on that?
Sure will.
All right, thank you.
How I mean, damn, if you're going to walk your ass to a congressional hearing, and this FBI guy, according to Ken Delaney, and Ken Delaney is a national security correspondent for MS Now. I used to work with Ken, the Fort Worth Telegram. This guy supposedly is a very good agent. That's how bad you got to be when you have had an excellent track record, and you got to go make yourself look like a damn fool and lie in front of Congress because you're working under a dumbass like Pam Bondi, who's reporting to a thug, corrupt, twice impeached, criminally convicted fool like Donald Trump. That's for you, Thelma.
Listen, I have no words, but I am so proud that they walk their ass like the dogs that they portray. Because one, you want to put a organization that educates and show up to make sure people's rights are protected and voices can be heard, but you don't want to acknowledge the fucking Proud Boys as if they are not part of the reason that we had January 6th. Majority of them got convicted. So are we going to not use our common sense or act like the president, who we don't know if he coming?
Find out what's up, because
so my whole thing is, we have individuals, if we continue with this type of checks and balances, pulling the receipts. When we pull fucking receipts and their memory gets foggy, we win every time. We got to receipt check their ass at every point. If we not showing up with the receipts to refresh their memory like we in trial, then we are failing. That's how we're going to drive it into people's memory. We want them to have this in their long-term memory, not their short-term. So you showing up and putting their ass on trial every single time, I bet they start showing up with some damn sense and stop violating constitutional rights and also being subjected to being a part of a federal indictment when this man leaves.
FBI director, former FBI director Christopher Wray, went before Congress and said point blank, Cameron, that the biggest threat in America is white domestic terrorism, and that's right-wingers who love MAGA. And Donald Trump has been trying to convince everybody it's Antifa. No, pimp, it's your side. It's your side. That's the January 6 people. That's that brother they arrested for the pipe bombs who said the 2020 election was stolen. I don't even know that story is even true. But the bottom line is the people who are committing terrorism in this country, the biggest threat are white, domestic, MAGA, GOP, right-wing terrorists.
Yeah, I think in each of those videos, you saw them fully embarrass themselves you got the Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, who couldn't even look in the face of some of these combat veterans and say like, oh yeah, I don't know if I have the latitude. I'm just going to review the case. I wish those congresspeople would have forced her and said more than just she would review the case and make sure they push that, because they'll say whatever they need to say to get out of those hearings.
In fact, Cameron, she actually said, oh, I got to leave early because I got to chair a FEMA meeting. And then a reporter said he was told the FEMA meeting was canceled.
No, they're looking for any out. They're looking for any out not to be caught on tape, because what they do realize, and even with this, that agent who was there, and he better hope he wasn't lying, because there's a lot of get back coming in terms of like it's a federal offense to lie to Congress, especially if you're under oath. And so I think I really hope that we keep some of these receipts. I hope that first hearing was, especially with Kristi Noem, is looked at about veterans, no matter what party you decide to vote for, to understand that they're not respecting you and they will deport you just like they will deport anybody else.
Greg, this is how shameful it was. She was like, oh, Lord. She was like, this seat is too hot for my ice Barbie ass. Listen.
I apologize. The gentleman's time has expired. I know the secretary has to leave, and I would now recognize a gentlelady from Texas, Ms. Johnson, for 5 minutes of questions.
I'm just going to take the position that she was scared of my questions. Mr. Chairman, if we could stop the clock and wait until after all this.
The clerk will suspend.
If we could reset the time, that would be helpful.
How your ass got to leave when they tell you how much time they going to need you testifying before Congress? Nah, they were whooping that ass so bad, she's like, look, she went no mas. She was Roberto Duran. No mas, I got to go.
Doggone Kristi Noem. The ice Barbie, as you say. It's a beautiful thing. She talking about a FEMA meeting. Didn't the governor of California travel here a few days ago looking for that money for relief from the fires? And nobody would meet with him? Doggone Kristi Noem. But the beautiful thing about it is, and she's being drugged for filth, of course, including right now, after her I gotta leave excuse. But in addition to that, it's a couple of interesting things. The right wing, I shouldn't say right wing. Let me not say that. Let me say it more accurately. The white nationalist press is dragging her for filth, floating the idea that she's about to be replaced. And so it made Salon.com yesterday or the day before, whenever. And of course, the White House denied it, which means she's probably on thin ice. We not because, she's cosplayed so much. And one thing about Bozo, his mind is gone. He's clearly deteriorated in so many ways, physically, intellectually, mentally. And one thing about it, though, that he maintains a laser focus on is appearances. And so he will recast that role very quickly. Now, to the point you raised, Brother Cameron, he's absolutely right. You better not have lied to Congress, Mr. Glasheen, who was the operations director at the FBI. And as you say, Roland, he's been around for a quarter century. In fact, he was promoted during the Biden administration. He didn't lie. Why? And I went back and looked at his written remarks, for the record remarks. You can go to FBI.gov and look them up. They're called Worldwide Threats to the Homeland. Notice, if you read through his prepared remarks for the record, there is not one mention of Antifa. He got blindsided like everybody else. So he's sitting there twiddling his thumbs. We're standing up. We're moving with it now. We're setting up the process. Oh, that's true. Why? Because these fools done told you to put Antifa on the list, and you looking like, what the hell? Ex-Marine. I'm trying to follow orders, but it ain't no threat. Now let me be very clear finally about who Antifa is. My father, Haywood Carr, born 1921, Buffalo Valley, Tennessee, drafted into World War II. My father was Antifa. My Uncle Bill was Antifa. My Uncle Thomas Hayes Jr., my mother's brother was Antifa. Also, his brother Buddy. Also, his brother Doc. They were all Antifa. I have a lot of cousins who were Antifa as well, because they fought Hitler. What is fascism, you fool? Now, I'm going to tell you something. I am Antifa as well. So is everyone. I'm against fascism, my friend. And as this man is sitting there trying to come up with a label, I'm going to tell you right now what the defense cannot be. The defense cannot be I am not Antifa. The defense is I am Antifa, and you're a fascist.
Y'all, these folk gonna learn, and the only way you make them learn is if you vote them out of office. That's what we gotta do every single day. All right, y'all, going to a break. We come back. Time for our Shop Black Star Network Marketplace. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network.
They said the quiet part out loud. Black votes are a threat, so they erased them. After the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act in 2013, Republican legislatures moved fast. New voter ID laws, polling place shutdowns, purges of black voters from the rolls. Trump's Justice Department didn't stop it. They joined in. In 2018, his DOJ backed Ohio's voter purge system, a scheme that disproportionately erased black voters. Their goal, erase black votes and political power. Yeah, that happened. These are the kinds of stories that we cover every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Subscribe on YouTube and download the Black Star Network app. Support fact-based independent journalism that centers African Americans and the issues that matter to our community.
Hello, I'm Bishop T.D. Jakes, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, Christmas season is here, and different kind of gifts you can get. Now, finding the right skincare products can be a challenging task for many people. Dr. Susan Evans has developed a skincare line specifically designed for black people and other people of color. Now, see, Doc, we put black in there. We don't say people of color. Health and beauty expert and the creator of Dr. Susan Skincare. She joins us now from Beverly Hills, California. Doc, glad to have you here. Okay, so what makes this so different or unique and specific to folks with melanin?
First of all, thank you for having me. I'm a huge fan of the show and you, so I'm glad to be here. So what makes this different, this line different? Well, I've been practicing in Beverly Hills for about 20 years. I'm black myself. I have like a lot of black celebrity patients. And even though I went to Spelman, of course, that also focuses on that, Morehouse and Harvard Medical School, NYU, Cornell, my training really wasn't about skin of color. It's like the smallest part. But of course, I have a special interest. I've been doing it for a long time. I'm always looking to find the right science to make sure that skin of melanin can glow.
See, the reason this is interesting, just the other day, I think I sent it around. Somebody did a video, I can't remember the sister who did it. She did a video talking about Polaroid. It was Ashley B. And she talked about the Shirley card and how Polaroid, what they did was Kodak, they developed film based upon a white woman. And she was like, one of the reasons a lot of our, grandparents and others, they always look dark in the photos because it was never developed. And so the reality is when we talk about a lot of stuff in our society, let's just be frank. So many products have been designed for white people.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, when it comes to internal organs and the heart, the lungs, it's pretty much the same. It's depending on whatever your race is, it doesn't matter. But when it comes to skin and hair, it's a little different. And so I've taken that extra effort and time and research to find the science that makes the difference so that we don't have to worry about scarring and, certain procedures that were okay for light skin that doesn't work for our skin. I've been doing this for a long time and done the homework so that you know how to get the things that will make the difference for your skin.
All right, then. So let's walk through here. So we've got, let's see, what's this right here? We've got Natural Advanced Anti-Wrinkle Neck Face Decollet Cream.
Oh, yes. So you know what, Roland, maybe I could make this more interested to you, which first of all, I admire you going for it as a man. But if I could talk about what might be good for you.
Go ahead. Okay.
I happen to know a little bit about your history because I think you like to golf.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you do. And you wear a cap out there. And I'm not sure if you're wearing sunscreen or not.
Yep, I do. I do.
This is specifically made for the neck.
Okay.
It's really packed with peptides. It has hyaluronic acid in it. It has what you need to make the skin on the neck that's different from the rest of the skin soft, smoother, younger. And the neck is one of those things that you kind of forget about. Even if someone's putting sunscreen on, a lot of times they just put it on their face.
Yes. Now, normally when I play, I spray here, I spray face here, ears, back of the head as well, and then of course arms and legs. And
that's good. First of all, good job doing that.
Oh no, I got 10 golf bags. I got sunscreen in every single golf bag.
I'm so proud. Some people think that black people don't need sunscreen.
Oh hell no, we do.
Yeah, and then when we have uneven skin tone, what it does, some people think they can go out and even out their uneven skin tone by the sun, but that's not true because the sun goes to the dark thing and makes the dark thing darker first.
So I get that. I get that up here. So what happens is, you're right, when I wear a cap, now you really can't see it now because it's been cold as hell here and I ain't been out there. But normally what happens in the summer months, you can literally see it'll be a line right here because I'm wearing the cap. And so it'll be dark here.
Oh
it'll be lighter up here.
Because you're protected other places and this is the area that's getting the dark. So if you don't wear sunscreen anywhere else, I'd like you to wear it. Make sure to wear it on the dark streak area because that's how you can at least even out some of your skin. And so this is for the neck because I got to tell you, Regina Hall, she wants me to tell everybody she's my patient and she wants everybody's neck to look young. She's on the red carpet. She's on the red carpet. I'm constantly looking up the best peptides, hyaluronic acid, whatever it is to keep her neck young. I made this one with her in mind. It's great for the neck. It plumps it up. It also lightens it up, makes it softer, and keeps it looking younger.
All right, next time I see her, I'm going to be like, Regina, ooh, look at your neck. All right, let's...
don't you do that to her. Please don't do that to her.
Well, I'm going to say, look at your neck.
Oh,
it looks
looking
great.
Good.
Come on.
I
ain't going to...
She'll love that.
Doc, really? I ain't going to sit here and say, oh, my God, Regina, your neck look horrible. No. All right, tell us about pure vitamin C and ferulic serum. What is this for?
Okay, so this is the pure vitamin C and ferulic acid here. This is a serum. You put this on in the morning before you put on your sunscreen. It makes your sunscreen work so much better. It also brightens up dark spots. It's also made with some hyaluronic acid in there to moisturize.
So you saying those of us who are from Texas and we used to have mosquitoes, then of course when you scratch them, it ends up having these dark spots on your legs. So we can.
Okay, because that's a real thing. So if we have mosquitoes and we scratch that area, especially what you're going to do sometimes even in your sleep, you have inflammation, and the way our skin responds to inflammation is to migrate a dark spot there. And it can stay around for a really long time. It doesn't go away on its own. So this vitamin C is really good for lightening it up, in addition to using the sunscreen, which also helps keep the sun from making that dark spot darker. It also moisturizes his hyaluronic acid and gives you a beautiful glow. It's a wonderful formulation of vitamin C. It doesn't irritate. And I have a special delivery system that makes you be able to tolerate it.
All right, so if we have those spots, how many times should we apply this per day?
You should apply that just once a day in the morning and underneath your sunscreen. It's a serum and underneath your moisturizer. Like if you were to use both of these, you'd start with the serum and then follow with the moisturizer.
All right, pure retinol. Okay. What's this? Pure retinol serum.
So this is a really big deal. I'm going to just take a moment for retinol, anything. In dermatology to date, there's nothing more than retinoic acid, a form of vitamin A, as far as plumping the skin, getting rid of fine wrinkles, lightening up dark spots. The problem with it does irritate the skin. Sometimes it makes you peel, but this is a special polypore delivery system. So you can put this on, you can brighten up your skin, tighten up your skin, and not have to worry about the unpleasant side effects.
Okay, now when you say, now you know we're black people, when you say brighten up your skin, what does that mean?
I'm really talking about, we naturally have hyperpigmentation. It could be the smallest thing, a scratch. It could be, like you said, a mosquito bite going out in the sun. We're going to get a dark mark because of it. So this will actually kind of keep it under control, keep the melanin from, being hyperpigmented, which is not the normal color, and even out your skin tone. When I say brighten it up, I more so mean even it out.
Okay. All right. Question. Okay. Yeah, no, absolutely.
So if you were going to use both of these, I would use the vitamin C serum in the morning. I would use the retinol serum at night.
Okay, got it. Let's see. Okay. Questions from our panel. Let's see. Who got some hyperpigmentation? I'm going to go with you, Cameron.
Well, you lucky I love you. I know you got to come for your boy. You got to come for your boy.
You can't turn your microphone on at the beginning of the show. That's why.
Thank you. Doctor, yes. Doctor, thank you for joining us today. I'm actually learning more about this whole serum thing and the need for serums as I'm doing more and more TV and media and so forth. Can you speak to me more also about the need for what's the right mix of cocktail for folks like us who are moving in and around the country? Because sometimes we're in the cold, sometimes we're in the warm weather, and I always feel like a little bit of a dryness, or sometimes depending on the weather conditions, like, oh, do I need to switch up? Do I need to switch up my skin and face routine?
Okay, so definitely you do need to switch it up a little bit, because you know, certain times of year there's more moisture in the air, and if you're on the East Coast and it's really cold, then you need to have a thicker moisturizer. But something that works really well for me, and it's not in this immediate line, but when you are like bathing and showering, and you get out of the shower, and you should apply like an oil, like while your skin is still damp, and then towel dry. I know it sounds strange, but I recommend this for a lot of my patients that have eczema. They have a lot of kids. They don't have a chance to lotion them down all the time. You apply the oil first, and then you towel dry. That's going to lock in the moisture. You can pretty much do that any time of the year, but you're definitely going to go for a thicker moisturizer for the winter months.
Wow.
And then,
so
you want to have a much thicker.
Before you towel off.
Before you towel dry. Okay. I know it sounds strange, but you try it and you'll be like, wow, my skin is moisture. You can still lotion afterwards, but it's going to act as a sealant and just lock in that moisture so you don't get this dryness. And then you follow it with the moisturizer after that, and you'll see that your skin is much more moist and more smooth and not ashy.
Oh, hell no. We can't do ash.
We can't have ashy.
Oh, hell no. We cannot do ash. I keep a bottle of lotion in my backpack at all times.
Good.
I don't tolerate ash. Can't do it.
Yeah.
Thelma, Lawyer Bay, go.
My question, because I am an advocate for self-care, and especially getting facials. How often do you recommend facials, especially when temperatures change? I know the cell turnover plays a big part in the hyperpigmentation, but how often should we be getting facials?
Well, it kind of depends on your skin type. You know, if you have more mature skin, dry skin, and you kind of need a little extra sometimes. So the main things that you need for your skin is exfoliation. You need to be using a form of vitamin C. You also need to moisturize your skin, especially. So oftentimes when you get these facials, they focus on those things. And sometimes when the skin gets so dry, believe it or not, if you don't have like a hyaluronic acid or like a glycolic acid or something kind of a peel first, your moisturizer doesn't penetrate. So oftentimes when you go get a facial, you get a light peel. I would say you definitely want to do it at least 5 times a year, something like that. If you are having a little bit more problems with your skin, or if you're having acne or something else, you may want to get it more often. But that's really all you need. If you have a good skincare regimen at home, quite frankly, it's not as necessary.
Greg.
Thank you, Roland, and thank you, Dr. Susan. I'm asking this out of ignorance. Many years ago, I had a student who's now a colleague, Yaba Blay, Dr. Yaba Blay, who wrote a dissertation, and the title was Yellow Fever. She was looking at skin bleaching in Africa, in the United States, among African people generally, the Caribbean. And I guess I got a couple of questions, because I was looking at your 3-step accelerated brightening and smoothing kit, and I'm thinking, wow, this is very interesting. And Roland asked you about brightening. I wanted a couple of things. We all remember, I'm old enough to remember the Ambi products and the skin lightening. And as Yaba looked at it, it's like, this is really like skin bleaching cream. And I know that's not what this is. How is this different than previous generations? It sounds like it's much more scientific. You've developed something. And then how do you distinguish these regimen from the old school, when people used to slather you down with cocoa butter and all that kind of stuff, or tell you go get vitamin E? Or are they related? Is there some overlap?
Listen, there's nothing wrong with slathering down cocoa butter for moisturizer. I mean, that's a good thing. You know, people use Vaseline. My grandmother used to use that. I mean, those things aren't bad. But when it comes to brightening up the skin, previously there was Ambi and a lot of different things that used hydroquinone. That was the name of the brightening. And if you use it for too long and in too high concentrations, you can get like a permanent form of hyperpigmentation or dark spots. So it defeats the purpose. So it's pretty much been pulled, I think, over the last 10 years. You're not going to find those things having hydroquinone in there anymore. So what my brightening does is I use other things, natural things like licorice extract, niacinamide, and another one, a big one, is tranexamic acid. And what it does is it goes in, if you're using it on a twice a day basis, like every 12 hours for 6 weeks, it really just suppresses your body's making too much pigment or hyperpigmentation, and it evens out the skin tone more so than just brightens it. So it's not, I wouldn't call it bleaching. I call it brightening or evening out the skin.
All right, then. So, folks, we've got the anti-wrinkle neck face cream here. We've got the pure vitamin C and ferulic serum. And then we've got the pure retinol serum as well. All right, products are available. Go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. Go to the White House. You'll see the products there from Dr. Susan. They're on the website. All these black-owned products. We support these black-owned businesses. When you buy these products, you also support Roland Martin Unfiltered, the Black Star Network. And so we really want y'all to do that. Again, listen, y'all going to be buying Christmas gifts. Y'all know it. So if y'all going to do it, buy black, support black-owned businesses, recirculate that money in our community. Go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. Dr. Susan, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. We appreciate it.
Keep up that sunscreen when you're playing golf.
Oh, that's always going to happen. That's always going to happen. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Okay. All right, folks. Let me thank Cameron, Thelma, Lawyer Bay, Greg for being on today's show, being on the panel. Thank you so very much, folks. I certainly appreciate it. I'm going to go to a quick break. When I come back, headlines with Brittany Noble. We'll be right back on the Black Star Network.
This week on the other side of change.
Book bans, anti-intellectualism, and Trump's continued war on wisdom.
This is a coordinated backlash to progress. At the end of the day, conservatives realized that they couldn't win a debate on facts. They started using our language against us, right? Remember when we were all woke and the woke movement and all that kind of stuff? Now everything is anti-woke, right? When we were talking about including diversity, equity, inclusion, higher education, now it's anti-DEI. All this are efforts to suppress the truth because truth empowers people.
You're watching The Other Side of Change only on the Black Star Network.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. America is being reshaped in real time by a group of 6 people, unelected and without any checks and balances. By the end of the current Supreme Court session, education, the workplace, who gets to elect our leaders, and so much more could radically change. This week, we reconvene our legal roundtable and look at what the new America may look like and how we should respond. That's next on The Black Table, right here on the Black Star Network.
Michael McMillan, President and CEO of the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis, and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Is Black Star Network anchor Brittany Noble.
Roland, a federal judge in Maryland has ordered the immediate release of Kilmar Abrigo Garcia from immigration detention, saying the government had no lawful basis to continue holding him. The judge ruled the immigration officials improperly detained Abrigo Garcia after he was wrongly deported to El Salvador earlier this year, despite a previous court finding that he faced danger if returned there. The judge sharply criticized federal authorities, finding they misled the court about efforts to deport him to other countries, noting that no valid removal order even existed. And black women in America are being killed at far higher rates than any other group. That's all according to an associate professor at the University of New Mexico's College of Population Health. Tamika Gilliam says in 2020, black women were murdered at a rate of 11.6 per 100,000 people, compared to just 3 per 100,000 for white women. The gap is even more staggering in states like Wisconsin, where black women were 20 times more likely to be killed than white women. Researchers also found that 90% of black women were murdered knew their killer, and the risk is even higher for women who are pregnant or recently gave birth, underscoring what experts call a growing public health crisis. Well, the Trump administration has scrapped plans to mint quarters honoring abolitionists, women's suffrage leaders, and civil rights figures. The U.S. Mint unveiled its final 2026 designs, and instead of Frederick Douglass, a suffrage marcher, or Ruby Bridges desegregating a Louisiana school, the new quarters will feature Presidents George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, and James Madison, along with the imagery of pilgrims arriving in America. Well, Treasury officials say the shift aligns with what they call America's defining ideals of liberty and tell the story of a nation's journey toward a move of a perfect union. The decision comes as the administration considers an even more controversial move, a $1 coin featuring Donald the Con Trump. Well, a new Pew Research Center study, the group's first to examine teens' everyday use of AI chatbots, finds that nearly 70% of American teenagers have used a chatbot at least once. And among daily users, 16% say they interact with AI several times a day or almost constantly. While chatbots are often promoted as tools to help with schoolwork, researchers say many teens are also turning to them for companionship and even romantic interaction. That shift is raising concerns about how heavy AI use may affect social development and emotional maturity. ChatGPT is by far the most widely used chatbot among teens, followed by Google's Gemini, Meta AI, and Microsoft's Copilot. Well, Grammy-winning artist Sean Paul is using his platform to shine a global spotlight on Jamaica's recovery after Hurricane Melissa, the massive Category 5 storm that devastated the island. Well, the hurricane damaged or destroyed more than 116,000 buildings, displaced up to 25,000 people, wiped out tens of thousands of farms, and triggered widespread power outages. In a heartfelt message from his home in Kingston, Paul announced that through the Sean Paul Foundation, he's partnering with Food for the Poor Jamaica to get relief directly to impacted families. He also pledged to match every donation up to $50,000. To donate, visit foodforthepeoplepoorja.org/Sean Paul Foundation. We'll have more after the break. Stay with us. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
That is it for us. I certainly appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to support the work that we do, join our Bring the Funk fan club. You want to contribute, go to, use the Cash App. If you want to contribute via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here, bottom left-hand corner. PayPal, R. Martin Unfiltered. Venmo, RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Checks and money order, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037 7-0196. Download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. If you want to get our Black Star Network, Roland Martin the swag, go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. T-shirts, hoodies, wall art, mugs, you name it, we got it. Also, if you want to support the black products that folks like Dr. Susan and her skincare products right here, got them in my hand. We just had a conversation with her right here. And then, of course, all these products to my left right here, all black-owned products that we have at shopblackstarnetwork.com. Again, go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. Shop our marketplace. When you support these companies and buy their products, you're also supporting this show and network. And fan base, folks, don't forget, download the app Fan Base. They've raised $14.6 million. Hey, time is running out. That's right, time is running out. The crowdfunding raise ends on the 18th, just 7 days away. They raised $14.6 million, $2.4 million left to hit the goal. Get more information at starengine.com/fanbase. Because of the breaking news, I couldn't get to the Somali story. I'll talk about that tomorrow. Lots more to break down. Don't forget, share the show, share our segments, share with folks, please, so they can watch the show. Because, again, ain't nobody doing the way we're doing it. And we're here every single day bringing you the news and information that matters to our people. And that's critically important. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow right here. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.